everyone. Welcome to another one of our live broadcast. This session is our first in the new year, so happy new year to everyone. So, my name is Melissa. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world where you're joining us from today. Like I said earlier, my name is Melissa. If we haven't met yet, I am a international recruiter here at Health Carousel International. So whether you're brand new to the broadcast or you've been with us for a while, welcome. We are so glad to have you here. Now, it's time for our Nursing in the USA segment, where we provide you with insight into what it's really like to work as a nurse in the United States and how Health Carousel supports you through every stage of your journey. Today, we're giving you an inside look at what it's like to really work in a telemetry unit. To help us explore this specialty, we are joined by Ryan from our clinical support team and two amazing nurses, Jasmine and Anna, to help share what it is really like and what to expect.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Melissa, for that wonderful introduction. Yes, I am joined here today to have a conversation with a couple of our peers working here in the United States. Really looking forward to today's conversation because this specialty requires very strong clinical skills, teamwork, and adaptability. And hearing from someone who's doing the work right now is one of the best ways to prepare. And so everyone, please join us in welcoming Jasmine and Anna.
Hi, everyone. Good morning or good evening.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning. Thank you for taking some time out of your days. I know we're all quite busy in the new year and getting things kicked off. And very, very happy to have you here with me today to help provide feedback and insight to your peers and nurses wanting to embark on their journey to become a nurse here in the United States. And so just to kind of help everybody get to know you a little bit more, I'll start with Anna because you're first on my screen here. Tell us a little bit about, I guess, your journey that just in a quick high-level summary that took you to telemetry nursing here in the United States.
So I came with our current client on May 2023. And everything is a general, like when you say telemetry. So I've been working there since May 2023, and currently I'm about to finish my contract so far.
Very cool. Jasmine, how about yourself?
Initially, when I got the interview for this facility when I was still in the Philippines, because I was an ER nurse way in the Philippines. That is my experience. But at some point of before I came here, like a month before, they say, because of not availability of that position, they opted to put me on a telemetry unit. But they haven't said anything about what kind of unit it is. I think they just said like a med-surg telemetry. But after quite some time, I've been floated to a different unit, a step down, or even any med-surg unit that I could work on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's definitely both of you sound to have what would be considered transferable skills to the telemetry environment. And really, I think the biggest differentiator on what your telemetry unit looks like here in the United States is, I think, a lot of it based on the size of your facility. Right, larger hospitals are able to specialize a lot more, maybe offer a step down unit that is separate separate from, say, like a remote telemetry unit. Or if you're working in a much smaller hospital, where there's the number of units is more limited, they have to become a little more multifaceted and able to maybe accommodate different levels of acuity within one unit. And so with that, kind of the telemetry area focusing primarily most of the time on your cardiac patients, the cardiac needs, and those patients that are having their heart rate rhythm all monitored through that remote cardiac telemetry. And so it really has grown in the past decade or so as the acuity of hospitals has increased. And so very casual conversation here today. I'm going to kind of just bounce back and forth. You may not each answer both, the same question. If you have feedback, maybe to build on somebody else's answer, please do chime in. Again, very casual conversation here today. And so, Jasmine, kind of walk us through what a typical shift would look like for you on a telemetry unit working with those patients.
Oh, okay. So initially, they usually do a huddle on change of shift. They might do it on the morning and as well as the night shift when it's time for swapping with the day shift and night shift thing. They usually come up with whatever reminders they want us to have and some updates on the facility or protocols that we have to follow or some changes. After that one, they usually assigned some rooms that we are gonna have. So our unit is it doesn't how do they okay, so they assign patients not by like by rooms. They usually like assign it with the acuity of how this patient would be throughout your 12-hour shift. It's going to be busy, that's how they arrange it. So you get sometimes you get the same room that's closer, but sometimes you get like a spread out numbers of patients. So it's a whole lot of walk and working. It's really a big difference on how they do, how nurses work here compared to the Philippines. It's way different because in here you're more of like really the primary, like you have to do a whole lot of things for patient, not only medication, not only doing nursing responsibility, but as well helping patients get involved with their care and being advocate. I guess here the only way back you're still in the Philippines, you are also like an advocate, but in here you're like more involved with patient, not only with the patient, also his patient's family and everyone that's involved in their care. So they usually do that as like a assignment for us. Then what else? What I typically do is if already signed patients, I'll find the nurse who has them, get report. I usually come in with the nurse that's had them on daytime, and that way they could meet me before setting down and looking at the chart, because the busiest time is the shift change, and a lot of problems or accidents sometimes happens during shift change because everybody is busy, like a lot of stuff happening, especially on the shift change. So I usually just go with the nurse that gave me a report, come into the room, just to make sure patient is safe, and there's no other concern that I have to I have to do or address right before I can come back to them, like maybe an hour to see them again. So I usually do that, and once I get report and sit down, I look at the chart, verify the orders, what I need to be done throughout the day, and just basically see what are their meds, whatever morning nurse said that he or she hasn't done, that I could continue is the number one I'm checking, because you don't want to miss that. But
Right.
like I said, not everything you can be done within the 12-hour shift. You might feel like you haven't done anything, but it's 12-hour shift. You can only do as much. And nursing is a 24 hours job. So don't be, I know some of you will be like, uh, will be hard on yourself for not doing a whole lot. You feel like you're doing a whole lot, but believe me, you've been doing a whole lot more.
Right.
So for my advice, that's how I do it. See chart, and then once I'm done looking all the charts, and that's how I'm gonna do my whole day. If something comes up, I'll gonna get a new admission and all that. The same thing. The charge nurse in there, they're gonna help you. I'm not sure how other facility does, but on us, they would help me set up a patient. Especially when if it's admission, you gotta ask a lot of stuff related to their admission. So you're gonna reach out family members that's not in there, maybe through phone or from a facility where they came from. And at the end of the shift, I usually do shift summary. They said you can skip up doing a shift summary, but for me, it's already like ingrained on me that I usually do some shift summary, because that's a very important one that the doctor could look at in case there's like a discrepancy on care, or who's gonna be take responsibility. So for me, you have to do your end of shift summary as always. Like, even though your shift wasn't as it was fine and nothing happened, you for me, you still have to do it. And I guess that's all. I make sure at 5 a.m. that all my patients are cleaned up. I go rounds every 2 hours. As if I'm not that busy, I go rounds every time, even though if they haven't done. I mean, if even though they're sleeping, you could just sneak out in there through dark just to make sure, because you might never know. Because I've experienced patient that's out of nowhere just could not wake up and had to call a rapid response to them. So if you haven't been checked for a couple of hours, please make sure do check your patient, because a lot of people don't. I'm not saying, but this is a reality. Not a lot of nurses do that. Some people just give meds and won't go back for a couple of hours. So please don't do that to your patient. Please don't do
Right.
that. So after I usually do that, rounds patient, make sure they're all cleaned up. Whoever's gonna get procedure on the morning, I make sure to give them bath, give them, keep them in, remind them that they cannot eat or drink. That is very specific to yeah, mostly. So I do that, do my shift summary and update my report sheet, and that's all. Whatever comes up there, if they need me, I'll help someone. And I guess that's how my day works.
That's all right. That's all nurses do. And definitely a lot to it. And, you made a lot of good points there. And, just to highlight, not every hospital is the same, right? The United States is so large and different healthcare
Yes,
systems.
it is.
They operate, but a lot of them are shifting towards what you said at the beginning of acuity-based assignments versus just where you're located, right?
Regular load base.
Right, trying to not give everybody the high, we don't want to stick all the highest, most sick people with one nurse, because that, obviously would be a patient care risk, and make that very tough on that patient assignment. So it's a song and dance that the charge nurses and the leaders do to try to divide up those patient assignments fairly. Second great point you made, right? You only have 12 hours, right, in a shift. It's hard. It sounds like a long shift, but boy, does it fly by when you're busy. And if you think through like a 4-patient telemetry assignment, 4 to 5, that's only about 3 hours in total, right? If you were to divide all your time evenly across the board with all your patients, like 3 hours, right? So that's really not a ton of time. And so you're very busy and trying to, kind of stay on top of things. And I think you did a fantastic job highlighting that and sort of giving that a picture for people to imagine. And then sort of lastly, to kind of reflect on one of the things you said, the advocacy, the voice that the nurse plays, and the role that you have as a nurse in the United States. I know that can be a challenge, right? I'll say I've never met a shy nurse. I've met nurses and my friends, people I went to school with when I was in nursing school who was shy, and some people would argue and not believe it. I used to be a very quiet and shy person myself. Nursing sort of requires you to take that and put it off the side, in the work environment there, to be an advocate, right? To be involved in the patient's care, to educate the patient, speak up for the patient, and communicate to your healthcare team. So a lot of great points that you made there. And so I'm going to direct my next question over to Anna. So in terms of working with patients on remote telemetry, how does telemetry monitoring factor into your daily responsibilities?
So, when I come like into the unit with our telemetry, we are expected, or part of our training is to interpret EKGs on a daily basis. Being able to discern AFib from a stable AFib, from a VTAC to a VFib, those are one of the things that we are uh, being taught to look for, and we need to have a keen eye, because in my unit, for example, we have a monitor at the entrance of our unit. There's a TV, and it has all the EKGs of the patient. And in the station, two of the stations are like, they have big monitors, and even just along the hallway, we have to like flip our head just to take a look at the EKGs. And even if it's not our patient and we see something, we have to go in, assess the patient. And that is something new for me, because in back home, the monitors are only in the station. You don't see it in the hallway. So you I got used to the scenery where people are just like running into the room after just walking by the hallway, and we also have to run with them, and we also have to assess the patient, and things like that. They make an emphasis to us to uh, be compassionate, and at the same time be alert, and try to help out with each other uh, as much as you can, even if it's not your patient. It's one of those things we that were ingrained to us during our training. And even with the EKG, we are quite. I was fascinated by it, because everything here is like portable. You get transferred to a patient, you transfer them, you have a portable monitor, you do EKG on the spot. Even the techs, they know how to do the EKGs. So it's not just us nurses, we collaborate with them. And what else? Yeah, we do get, they do emphasize also with alarm fatigues, learning how to manage through them. Even just a small alarm on the monitors, we have to take a look, assess the patient. And I've also tried, so since I have a background with the step down ICU, I've also like volunteered to be a telemetry tech on the hospital, where I would just watch two huge monitors, and I just have to call the nurses and inform them about it. So those are one of the things that uh, was a bonus for me, because I didn't really need to undergo an additional training. Once they find out that I'm a telemetry nurse, they just let me sit on that and watch the monitors and just notify them. Um, and it's also quite daunting in here. It, we're not as familiar with pulmonary embolism in the Philippines. It's one of those things that we will only find out after a CT or an imaging. But in here, with the symptoms, with the everything so portable, we are actually able to be step ahead for the patients and give them a timely management. So that's one of the things that I had to get used to, and I also had to keep up with my colleagues on the EKG reading. Slowly, they were like teaching me on how to read just a 6-strip EKG, to figure out which ones are heart blocks. And so if you're gonna be a telemetry nurse here, I think it would be a best option to really invest your time to learn the strips, how to read heart blocks and stuff like that, and management also. It's a big step, especially you especially when you're on your own. And you hear all of the alarms and everything, but you're able to see what to watch out for. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely a lot of reprioritization that occurs, and being prepared, as you go up in acuity, more critical patients, the reassessment factor does play into where it is, much more frequent and important, especially for like the telemetry patients, where a lot of the medications maybe that they're receiving can, require some form of pre-assessment or post-assessment based on the facility policy. So kind of tell me a little bit, as I'll kind of kick back over to Jasmine here. Because of that, right, the constant reassessment and assessing the patient, how do you go about prioritizing your tasks during a busy shift?
So I guess a busy shift, I made it a habit to arrive at least 30 minutes early at work. I have this practice where I have to see the patients, take a look, or see their chart ahead of time. And that's when I can anticipate when who will I need to prioritize in terms of management, who needs to go to a CT, who is ambulatory, who can be managed less. So those are the things that I've taken into account. And when I do have a busy shift, I give the charge nurse a heads up. Our charge nurse, they really have to partake in helping us out. We have this buddy system where one of the nurses is your buddies, or they will take over if something is happening or what. I try to let them know what's happening with my cases so that they can help me out, or I can delegate some of the tasks. And I try not to take everything on my shoulder at work. I had to learn how to properly delegate, since there are things that like special LPNs, techs, they all have their roles, and we had to really utilize or work with them so that our period or our shifts won't be as heavy as much. So yeah.
Jasmine, did you have any additional feedback in terms of, I know we mentioned before the patients and the amount of time, right, that you have, only 12 hours. So time management, prioritization are, a must for nurses. Did you have any strategies or prioritization advice?
Actually, it just sounded like her, because you have to let your charge nurse or anyone that could help you during that shift, because you need, you cannot do it all alone. What if the basis is, if your patient is that it's not only one patient that you're gonna come through with a problem. So most of the time, if this patient comes to be worse, the other one might as well. So That's how it is. I don't know why, but it does comes in twos. That's what they said. So I usually let the charge nurse know about the situation, and that way they could help me. That's how I do usually. Because like what
Okay.
she said, you cannot do it all alone by yourself, and you have other people that can help you. I think it's another like a adjustment for everyone, like a new on USA that's working on a hospital, that we're not used to have like a backup, that could help us do this stuff. Because I mean, from where we came from, we don't have other nurses, capable nurses that could also do it. Like what she said, like how to delegate tasks and all that. It's
We
completely
learned
different.
we learned the statement, it's a day shift problem.
Uh-huh.
We had to adjust to that kind of term. It's a night shift problem. It's a day shift. At the moment
Yes.
the time hits 7 or 6 or 6:30, you really have to let go, and you really just have to accept the result of what you could have done within the 12-hour shift.
Right, right. Yeah, definitely. We teamwork makes the dream work. I know that's like the corniest, most
True.
phrase ever said, but it is true though, especially within healthcare and within nursing specifically, that where the stakes are high, where there's the common goal of the professionals working there for the patient centered care. Uh, we must work together, right? The best facilities are ones with a strong team environment within their units, and that's what so many hospitals strive to develop. Um, so I know we're coming short on time, so I got two more questions I wanted to kind of throw out there. So Anna, what skills do you feel, other than the teamwork, the collaboration that we mentioned, the prioritization, EKG interpretation being a must, what other skills do you feel are most important to be a successful telemetry nurse?
I think good communication and having a set of basics fundamental skills in nursing. And when I say the basic fundamental skills, IV insertion, NGT, Foley, those are the things that you really have to master, or not really master, be proficient enough to do, because time will come that you have to do it on your own, and you can only get like a small assist, and you'll be surprised that in the unit you're actually more experienced than you think. You have more knowledge compared to other nurses, and it's just really polishing your skills, and also learning how to communicate. I know some of the Filipinos are don't they are quite intimidated with talking in English, trying to adjust with the accent. Jasmine already has the southern accent. I can hear it from her. So
I'm kind of like
yeah,
now.
yeah. So it's one of those things that we had to you need to learn, being able to express yourself, um or being able to express yourself and learning to like say no when things are really getting hard. So yeah.
Absolutely. Jasmine, were there any additional skills that you feel are really a must?
Yeah, for me, I could just add it to it. Maybe just, like it's the same thing for her, but for me, on the attitude side, I think for me, when you come in here, of course, it's going to be overwhelming with a lot of stuff that you have to adjust to, but you have to be open. A lot of people are not comfortable having a change of environment. I know, I get that. But for you to be able to transition here successfully in the US, you have to be and have an open mind, and, just be a sponge that you could absorb whatever knowledge that you may gain on transitioning here. I think that's the number one thing that you should have, is having an open mind to learn a whole new thing and a whole new knowledge that you could utilize. Because I think if you don't have any of that's the other thing. If you don't have it, you're gonna be having trouble like adjusting to a whole new kind of work while you're here. So I suggest that starting as now, you have to like mentally prepare yourself that it's gonna be a big change on how you do how you used to be, but as soon as you already like get a hold on it, it'll be easier. It'll be easier for you. So I guess you have to have that one.
Awesome, awesome. And then finally, just real quick, what is your favorite, or what do you find most rewarding about working in the telemetry environment?
Um, for me, the most rewarding will be the opportunities ahead, because I see working in a telemetry unit, it's either you go ICU or you go down to a medical med search ward. So you're in between, and there's a lot of options for you to go to. You can specialize, you can focus on one craft, you can focus on one unit. Um, but aside from that, I think the most rewarding is also when you're recognized by your peers for even the simplest things to do or the simplest acts. It really helps boost the confidence, and believe it or not, they really encourage you, or they really reward you for uh, the compassionate care that we can give as a nurse. And for most of the patients here, they're quite amazed or surprised at the quality of care that they get from foreign nurses, and they give high praise, and it's really it's lifts the spirits up, especially at a very heavy unit.
Jasmine, did you have anything that you wanted to add about what
uh,
you find rewarding?
I guess none. I think it depends on how, if it's how they would like to be fulfilled on this kind of job, because this kind of job alone requires being selfless to people. I mean, and for me, when before I even became a nurse, I I've been prayed for like having a mission in life that I love to do. So I guess helping people enough for me is a fulfillment in life. But of course, seeing your patient get better, get discharged when you handed them is a success and a fulfillment on my part. On excuse me, on career side, of course, that means you are a reliable nurse. That means you are doing your job because you've done your part. I guess that's all I need to feel to get fulfilled. That's on me. Yep,
Oh, no,
not much.
no, it's sort of something to think about, right? And definitely leaves you, reflecting on it. And so these segments are always my favorite. I love the day in a life segments where we get to speak to our nurses that are working, at the end, of the road, right? Sort of where you're trying to get to, and sort of boots on the ground, working in the thick of it, and to learn and to be able to share that knowledge to individuals who are just starting their journey. I find super invaluable and super helpful. And so it's always my favorite thing to do, to sit down and have these conversations for the benefit of everyone. So thank you so much, Anna and Jasmine, for your time here today. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Sure.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Jasmine and Anna, for sharing your story as telemetry nurses. And of course, thank you, Ryan, for guiding such a helpful conversation. Bye. For those of you preparing to enter a telemetry unit, we hope this gave you a clearer picture of what to expect and how you can thrive in this fast-paced, rewarding environment. Our clinical team, support team is here to provide you with a full circle of support, from preparing you for your specialty to walking alongside you throughout your assignment. Well, we're joined by our language proficiency program manager, Lauren, who works closely with international nurses to improve spoken English and prepare for real world communication in the US. Hey, Lauren, how are you?
So, hi everybody. So for this month's English tip, we're talking about how to sound more natural in everyday English. In previous times, we've talked about being confident, and that's something that I really stress to healthcare professionals. But sounding natural is a little bit different, right? Because when healthcare professionals come to the United States, they're confident in their English speaking abilities and their fluency, their vocabulary, and their grammar. But when it comes out to their American coworkers, they can still feel like it sounds like a textbook, or it sounds very learned or formal. And so today I want to show you 3 simple phrases that will make you sound just more natural, help you blend in and connect in a more natural way. All right, so our first phrase is, I'm all set. Americans use this instead of long explanations like I'm fine or don't need anything else. I say it all the time. I'm all set. It's a friendly and natural way to say, I'm ready for the next step. I'm finished with the previous step, and I don't need any help right now. Whatever task I'm working on or whatever situation, I'm fully secure. I'm all set. So if somebody asks you, hey, do you need help with anything? You can simply say, no, thank you. I'm all set. And it's a short, casual way to say basically that you're totally good to go. And your coworkers will use this phrase as well on the floor.
Yeah, I'm all set. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And speaking of, I'm all set for the next phrase to use. And the next phrase to use is sounds good to me. This is a really natural way that Americans show agreement. It's not too formal, it's not too strong, and it simply means I agree with whatever idea or whatever is happening. That plan works for me, and I'm okay with that. So you can use it in all kinds of different contexts. If your colleague says, let's meet after shift report, you can respond with, that sounds good to me. Or maybe another colleague says, hey, we're going to go out for pizza. Does that sound good to you? Sounds good to me. And so you'll hear this phrase constantly. It's really sort of the American universal yes. And it's a little bit more friendly and relaxed than I can confirm what you're saying to be what I would like as well.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I overuse a lot. Like, do you need this? Or can I help you with this? Sounds good to me. It just sounds good to me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, sounds good. And it works for all kinds of different in social settings and professional settings. And so it's just a really versatile phrase that we use all the time. And our last phrase is, let me check on that. And that will be one that's really important to your communication as a healthcare professional. This is a great phrase for moments when you don't have the answer just yet, but you can get the answer soon. Or perhaps a colleague reminded you of something that needs to get done. And it just means I'll look into it. I need a second to be able to get this information for you, or I'll follow up with the answer, but I don't have it right now. So if somebody asks, hey, did the labs come back? And you don't know the answer, you can say, let me check on that. And then it helps you just sound more calm, confident, and in control, even if you don't have that information at the present time. To recap, here are 3 everyday phrases that will help you sound more natural with your coworkers. I'm all set. Sounds good to me. Let me check on that. These aren't formal phrases from a textbook. They're the real everyday expressions that Americans use at work. Even try using one of them today. You'll notice more conversations feel smoother and natural right away. So thank you so much, Melissa, and our healthcare professionals around the world for joining this month's English tip. Keep practicing and keep building your natural, confident workplace English. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lauren, for the short monthly tips. They are such a great way to strengthen your communication skills, whether you're preparing for a test, speaking with patients, or getting more comfortable with everyday conversations. Like, yeah, this sounds good to me. So we'll be back with another tip next month. So keep practicing and stay curious. It is time for one of our favorite segments, Employee of the Month. I'm joined by my colleague Presley from our International Employee Supervising Team, who is here to help us celebrate, our incredible nurses making a difference. Hi, Presley.
Hi, Melissa. Super
How are
excited.
you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you. I am always excited to be here and to honor our fantastic healthcare professionals who are going above and beyond. So every month we take the time to honor international healthcare professionals who are going above and beyond in their roles and living out Healthcare Excell's mission of improving lives and making healthcare work better. Before we reveal December 2025 the winner, let's take a moment to recognize all of our outstanding nominees. Please join me in congratulating Cassell, John, and Karen May. Each of you was nominated for your incredible dedication, professionalism, and the heart you bring to work. We're so proud of all that you're doing in your communities, and now I am thrilled, drumroll please, to announce that our December 2025 Employee of the Month is John A. She goes by J.I. Congratulations. Now
Wonderful.
I know, right? The last winner of 2025 Employee of the Month. Now let's take a moment to shine a light on what makes this nurse super special. J.I. is a dedicated nurse working in a high acuity unit where she brings not only clinical skill, but also deep compassion and teamwork to every shift. Her nurse manager describes her as a strong team player, a conscientious nurse with a great deal of compassion, and someone who is motivated to learn and grow. That motivation is clear in how J.I. approaches her work. Since arriving in the U.S., she has embraced one of the most powerful lessons in nursing, which is leading with empathy. She understands that patients are often reacting to fear, pain, or difficult news, and she meets them with kindness and patience, adjusting her care to fit each individual's unique needs and values. J.I. chose Healthcare Cell because of our ethical recruitment and full circle support from licensing and visa processing to relocation. What stood out most to her was the genuine care and clear communication she received throughout her American journey. When asked what winning this award means to her, J.A. said, "Receiving awards have never been my goal, but knowing that others recognize my ability, compassion, and dedication boost my confidence and reinforces my passion for nursing. It reminds me to keep giving my best, not just to my patients, but to my team as well."
Wonderful.
And her favorite American food, the classic mac and cheese, a warm and comforting choice that matches the heart she brings to her work every day. Congratulations, J.I.
Congratulations.
Woo! Now, unfortunately, she could not join us live, but we are grateful for her honesty, her heart, and her incredible contributions. She is a living proof that with courage, compassion, and the right support, healthcare professionals can thrive anywhere in the world. We are super proud of JI the Healthcare Self family, and we know her impact is only just the beginning. Now back to you, Melissa.
Oh, thank you, Presley. This is just wonderful segment. I really love this segment, and congratulations to Jan. We are so inspired by everything you've accomplished and the strength and heart you bring to your work. I also want to share something new with all of you. We now publish blogs that feature our Employee of the Month nominees and winners. It's another way to celebrate your stories, highlight your journeys, and inspire other healthcare professionals preparing for their move to the US. Be sure to check those out after today's broadcast to read more about our amazing honorees. Thank you. Let's dive into the February Visa Bulletin to help you understand where things stand. Each month, we share the latest update and remind you of steps you can take while you wait. To walk us through everything you need to know, here's Elizabeth, our Associate Director of Immigration and Licensing, to cover the February Visa Bulletin.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here today.
Hi, Elizabeth.
So we're going to go ahead and dive in with the February Visa Bulletin. I know with all of the news of travel bans and pauses on immigrant visa issuance, it can be very distressful. But however, I mean, the February Visa Bulletin does bring some good news. We did see quite a bit of advancement for our EB-3 sponsorship category, which is where our registered nurses and our medical technologists are going to fall into. If you're not familiar with the Visa Bulletin, you're going to see it on the chart on the screen. You're looking at the employment-based columns. You can see there are a number of different numbers, and you're looking for EB-3. That is going to be the EB-3 sponsorship that our registered nurses fall into. And then across the top is also your country of birth. So some people hold a different country of citizenship. The employment-based sponsorship is looking at country of birth. So you're going to find your country. All chargeability is going to be anyone who is not also listed out. So China, India, Mexico, Philippines, you're going to look, if you were born in any of those 4 countries, you're going to look in that column. If you were born anywhere else in the world, you're going to look at all chargeability. Now, we did see forward movement for Philippines, all chargeability, and Mexico for the February Visa Bulletin. So starting on February 1st, June 1st, 2023, is going to be the priority date for Philippines, all chargeability, and Mexico. There was no change in EB-3 for India or China. They are holding steady at November 15th, 2013 for India and May 1st, 2021 for China. But again, to reiterate, Philippines, all chargeability, and Mexico did move forward, will be moving forward on February 1st. By 1 month and 2 weeks. So that is great movement. So great news, very exciting there. If you're not familiar with how you get a priority date, that is when you sign on with a staffing agency like Healthcare Cell. We're going to file your I-140 immigrant petition, and that is when USCIS, the government agency that approves and adjudicates I-140 petitions, they're going to issue a priority date the day that they receive that I-140 petition from us in the mail, and then you will take that priority date and reference the visa bulletin to see when your date will become current. And then once you become current, that's when that you're going to be able to move forward to the embassy interview part and receiving your immigrant visa. Now, as you can see the dates, there's a lot of time and steps in between I-140 approval and embassy interview, but we're here to, support you all the way and help you fulfill the requirements that are required to attend your embassy interview, which also includes, getting the U.S. job assignment.
Okay, that is some really good update there, Elizabeth, and also a cool tip on how a priority date is established and how they can reference the visa bulletin to know where they are. And of course, if you still need help in trying to figure that out, definitely reach out to your current assignee and they'll be there to help you and guide you through that process. So thank you again, Elizabeth, for your time today and for giving us an update on the February visa bulletin. I know our healthcare professionals that tune in love this segment and wait for this segment to come. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad to bring great news for February.
Yay, New Year.
New Year.
Okay, everyone. I hope that you all have a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, or a wonderful evening, wherever you are tuning in from all over the world. See you all next month. Bye-bye, and have a prosperous new year.